Everyone at home's like, what? And Sophia's like, you guys and your musical talk.
No, you want to know what's funny is I'm like, yeah, we did Sound of Music when I was in high school and I did props.
Oh, but you're so
I was like in the back doing all the. Oh man,
you do everything, Sophia.
I love props. They're still my very favorite thing to do.
Hey, where did you hang out in Wilmington? Because you were out at the beach predominantly, right?
Yeah, we stayed at the beach the entire time. We ended up, it looked like we were going to be around for a while, we bought a house in Landfall.
Oh, cool.
Which is also the beach. But the first few years we were renting a house on the beach, our own, I think it was like $2,500 a month or something crazy. Yeah. I mean, that's cheap for being on the beach.
That's insane.
And that was like our backyard. The kids could just run out and run through those,
with the girls,
the brush and the white sand. And it was heaven. You couldn't ask for more.
Do you have advice for young women? I mean, you must, because you have raised 3 young women in this industry. And for young artists that are up and coming, or, even girls who are successful in this business, what are some things that you've experienced and that you feel like, oh man, I wish I had known this when I was starting out? Well, traps that you saw us fall into. I don't know.
I mean, I do wish that I had someone, I wish I had some, some sort of mentor, I guess. I had to figure it out myself. But, it's just so important to keep, I don't know if you can tell a kid this, keep your head on straight, but, to have a solid family, to have a life other than this passion that you have, to celebrate every holiday, no matter what, keep the things that are, important and things that are tangible, things that you can rely on, make sure that you stay close with your family, no matter what, your close friends, just so that it's not the only important thing in your life. That's what I've done with my kids is just always, no matter how passionate you feel about your career, there are other things too. And so that when it doesn't go your way, you still have these other things. I mean, that sounds pretty basic and cliche, but it's not always easy. When you're driven, when you just want something so badly, that's all you can see. You can't see straight.
Well, I think especially in a business where what you do can be mistaken for who you are.
Oh, yeah.
When you're a performer, you are embodying someone, but it's not you. And it's so important, I think, for artists to understand that there's who you are and there's what you do.
Right. Exactly.
And it's hard in this business, I think, especially when you're young, to separate those things. And, if you're the kind of young
it's hard
people,
either way.
Yeah. And if you're the kind of young girls we were, where we were scared to admit there were things we didn't know because we thought we'd get in trouble, you know?
Yeah.
It's important. Ugh. Yeah, I wish we'd all been better at crawling into your open door and just cuddle puddling with you.
I wish.
It's good advice for any profession, though. I mean, having your touchstones that exist outside of work.
Exactly.
Barb, I know, you and I are friends on social media. I think, are we Facebook friends too? I feel like I've seen you go back to your high school, and we've talked about your hometown. What was your high school experience? Who were you at 16, 17 years old?
I was like everything.
Yeah, you were.
I think at the end, most likely to, you guys are doing, I think I was most likely to do everything, like some stupid award that I got at the end of the year. And I was, a cheerleader and student council and theater and tennis. And I mean, I would just try to squeeze in as much as I possibly could. And it was a great experience. And, my kids don't go to school, and sometimes I don't want to use the word regret, but I wonder, what their experience would have been. I mean, they're experiencing other things that are amazing, but sometimes I get a little sad that they're not experiencing the high school experience, the college experience. But that's who I was. I was One Tree Hill.
Yeah, you were.
That is so cool.
Yeah, you were. You were like so a mix of all the characters. You were Brooke, Haley, and Peyton.
Yeah.
But then you were doing theater in Chicago, right? How'd you get involved in that?
I entered the Miss Teen Illinois pageant.
Yes, she did.
Barbara, where are these pictures? Please.
I need these photos.
Oh, I have them.
Yes,
oh my God,
I do have them. And I won the talent portion. And one of the judges was an agent in Chicago. And so I signed with her and I started doing, commercials and little roles and a lot of theater in Chicago. And stayed there for a while. And then I went to Northern Illinois, but I would still audition in Chicago. I would go back. I wanted to go to a college where I could still audition in the big city. And so I did that for a while. And then I moved out to LA.
Oh my God.
And the theater scene is so good there and all the improv. Did you get into any of that stuff?
I did Second City.
Oh, you're so cool.
That's why you were so good at all the comedic stuff.
And see, to this day, and I was wondering, Joy, if you feel the same, because, all of you infuse comedy into things. And that's why I love that. I love taking any role and just trying to find the comedy in it or the lightness of it.
Because that's life.
And so people can relate to it. And I'm watching Deb at the beginning. She was pretty heavy. There wasn't a whole lot of comedy. And hopefully after I, got to know the writers a little bit more, they thought, we can maybe make her a little goofier and she's game.
Oh, you got there.
And I liked it so much more.
Did you ask for that? Did you ever ask them to lighten her up or to give you comedy?
I think I just told them how much I loved it. Positive reinforcement. Mm-hmm. If something came in with a little bit of comedy, I would say, oh, I love this, love this, love this. I didn't, I wasn't a complainer. I complained about my wardrobe a lot.
Let's talk about the juicy tracksuit.
And it wasn't appreciated that I ever had anything negative to say, but I wasn't letting up on that wardrobe. Like my pleated tan pants that, at the time you guys were all wearing like those low rise. They were so cute at the time. I was like mom.
You were in mom capris.
Yeah.
And Taylor, pressed.
And here we are watching the episode and I'm like, where are the top of our pants? They owe us 8 inches of fabric. Just pull them up.
It's so cute though. You guys could pull it off. It was so cute.
They really did. They treated parents on TV very differently than they do now. There was kind of this unsexy, let's dumb you down. And you had Nathan when you were 18 years old. So you were a young mom. You're playing 35 years old, which is younger than we are now, So the idea of if someone put me in tan slacks, I'd be mortified.
It was very beige. I spent my entire adult life being on YA projects when I'm not a YA. Mm-hmm. And I just feel this responsibility. I don't want kids to fast forward through the adult roles, through the adult scenes. I want them to find the adults just as interesting. And you don't want to be the stereotypical parent ever. 100%. It's just boring.
Yeah. It's boring.
Yeah. And I want flaws and I want, dimension.
And where does this idea that moms are somehow sterile, where does that come from? You're a hot mom.
Word.
I'm into it. You're all hot moms. Oh my God. Sophia and the 3 hot moms. That's this episode.
Yeah.
Hi, ladies. I appreciate knowing that you don't have to lose yourself or your romance or your fire or your humor, because you're right. Back then, they kind of wanted these parents to just be these, tent poles of advice, and then they'd scuttle off the side. And you rested your humanity and your femininity back from those khaki pants.
Also, I think the show needed a Karen. Karen Rowe, not a Karen, but what Karen has
been ruined.
Karen. No. But there was already a Karen Rowe. I mean, let's find something else. Let's flaw her up a bit, Deb. And eventually they figured it out. You didn't need 2 parents like that. And I loved her at the beginning, but I loved her a lot more later on.
Yeah. What was your favorite? We can talk about stuff coming up. What was your favorite Deb shenanigan?
I loved all of the War of the Roses with Dan. I loved all the pranks. That was by far my favorite. Moira and I had a night on the billboard, top of the billboard.
Oh, that's right.
Painting a mustache on. Dan. And that was
the cat suit.
Oh my God, that was possibly I think it was a juicy suit.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's what we're going to send out this year as wrap gifts for the podcast. Just juicy suits to everybody.
Yes. We'll hunt them down on eBay.
I have them, all of mine.
You did?
Oh, I have green, wine, black,
The wine.
white.
The wine.
Yeah.
And my girls are stealing them all the time. But do you remember the store Oliver?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a store in Wilmington.
Yes. And this is what I did. I would shop there. I would put things on hold. And I told them when our wardrobe person would come in shopping for characters to push them in her face, in her face,
You're
and
so
say,
smart.
Barbara was in here and these are the things she really loves.
That's genius.
Yeah.
And
So
slowly
smart.
but surely she started picking up a few things. And I remember being told, like, you've got to let the whole wardrobe thing go. But unfortunately,
That is some high level thinking.
basically it starts with wardrobe and your look and your hair. I mean, basically when people are watching, that's what they see.
Did you have hair wars too? Did you have wars over your hair and the style?
I did.
And
I did.
We all had hair wars. That was a
Hair
massive
Wars.
thing.
That's the name of our memoir. Hair Wars.
I always have hair wars. I am actually pretty happy to hear that you guys had them too, because I had a lot of them.
Oh yeah, they were.
Yeah, when it came
brutal.
from the we were always told it came from the network, but did it? We question everything
No,
now.
I think there was maybe one or two people in particular that just had an idea of what they wanted women to look like or girls to look like or whatever.
Yeah.
I also put my hair up a couple times and that was nixed pretty quick.
I feel like I recall there being an episode, if I'm remembering correctly, where you had your hair in a ponytail in a hot tub and you looked great.
Ooh, hot tub Deb
stuck
is a
with
dangerous
me.
Deb.
That's all I'm saying.
I think
You look great with your hair up.
that was with Antoine.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
And we
my
were-
favorite Deb storyline. Sorry, guys, my dog is like barfing on the rug and my child is running through. And I'm just like, this is what being a working mom is about. Barbara taught us how to do this. You just smile and you power through. That's what we're going to do. So, no, Antoine and Deb was my favorite chunk of time on the show because I thought it was the right amount of naughty, but also like really endearing because you two were cute together. You're still cute together.
And
the comedy was right there, man. You guys just lit each other up.
So good.
So he's so good. And his bark is so much worse than his bite. Just you wait, girl. Like, yeah, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when we get to set, he would be kind of nervous. And, I had one dress that they rigged because he had to do and like undo my dress in front. And so they had to rig it up because it was in the script, and I was showing him how it works. He's like, oh, okay, that's fine. We'll just do it. Like, what happened to the Antoine I know? Like,
Sweet baby.
so respectful. And I was, I think 3 weeks after having Allie,
Oh my God.
Wow.
I was in the pool with my hair up and nursing and topless.
Oh my God, Barb.
And
Wow, you're superwoman.
Covering like this with Antoine. And he was so sweet. And I was afraid I was going to get like, I'm sorry, this is TMI.
No, it's fine.
It's not that.
No way, not on this
You're
show.
like, I was lactating in the pool.
I was going to get milk in the pool.
But he's a dad, so he got it. He was so sweet. And then he was hugging me and he's like, oh, gotcha. I got you, girl. Like, no one's going to see anything. And he was I love him so much.
He's so good.
I love him
Right
so
after I
much.
gave birth to George, I did a movie with Antoine, I don't know, 2 months later. And I was at that point where like the baby's not sleeping and I also have to be on set and I'm losing my mind. And Antoine would come over to my apartment and just rock my baby. Like he knows how to do it with one arm in a way that like the child falls asleep
God
like
bless that man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got good dad energy.
He's a good dad.
Yeah.
He's so good. Antoine's like, I remember I was dealing with like boy drama and I remember calling him and he would sit on the phone with me for like 2 hours and just talk me through it. And here's what you do. And here's what you say. Well, what happened? And like my little therapist. Oh, I love him.
You got to kiss all the cute boys on the show because you also ended up kissing Craig at some point, right?
Oh, I was hoping for 2 seconds. I thought maybe we were going to end up together, and it never
that
happened.
would have been good.
And I did know that you had a crush on him, Joy. And
I didn't know that.
You did.
I did know. I didn't think you ever told me. Maybe you did, but I don't think you did. I just knew.
It's probably because I was just fawning over him all the time, like staring longingly across the room.
Yeah. I was hoping, but it never happened.
Barb, we get some of these like deep thought questions that we are supposed to answer, but I want to know some of yours. One of them was like, if you have a friend coming to town, what experience in Wilmington would you tell them, like, you cannot miss this?
Indochine.
Oh my God.
I love Indochine.
Yes. Is it still open?
That garden.
It's still there. So right before quarantine, there was a convention there.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we were all there together. I don't remember, but it was in Raleigh, I think. But anyway, I went to Wilmington and I spent my birthday in Wilmington, and everybody took me out to Indochine, and it's so good. It's still good. It's still amazing. But obviously the beach is like no other.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just something special about going to the beach, going to Wrightsville Beach and hanging.
That East Coast beach is so warm.
So
too.
much, so great. And, all of my best friends are still there. I accumulated best friends and kept them to this day. We're in Toronto and we're driving back. We're actually going to stop in Wilmington on the way back.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
And so where's going
That's
back
great.
to? Where are you guys like?
LA.
Yeah.
LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, how long are you going to be in Toronto?
We're here till mid-August.
Ugh, I get there in October. Damn.
You do?
Your ship's
Yeah.
passing in the night.
Just whoop, so close.
Okay. I have a great place I'm staying. I should tell you about it.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
hold it.
This is why our club remains, because we have spiderwebbed from Wilmington all across
Right.
North America and even
Yeah.
further.
That's right.
Sweet. Okay. So the girls are taking over television. You and Olivia are working on a show right now. What do you think is the reason, with all this new content out there, people are still drawn to the show?
It's funny. I'm watching it now for the first time with Allie, who's 13. And she said, just last night, she said, I miss shows where people just talk to each other. It's a relationship show, and there are no, special effects or big car chases or, she said, I just like watching these people talk to each other. And
wow, for a 13-year-old.
That's a 13-year-old.
And
And I said, you don't have to watch this. She said, no, and last night when I went to bed, I could hear that she was watching it in her bedroom as she was going to sleep. And that made me feel so good. Little does she know what I do later on in the episode.
Oh my God.
I know.
And there's binge watching now. So it's not like she's going to have to wait 3 years to see.
Yeah. She's going to come downstairs to breakfast one morning and you'll know.
Yeah. It's just character driven, and that's what drew me to the show at the beginning. It's just, it's just all about the characters.
Yeah.
And, just so all of them so well-rounded. And I don't know, it's hard to find shows like that these days.
it really is. We need to write one.
Yeah, Barb, I want to work together again. Listen, guys, I was doing this Christmas movie in Louisiana, and we had to, the last second, we had to like get somebody to come play the superintendent of all the schools. And they were trying to cast local. And I was like, ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. And they're like, well, fine. Who do you have, Hilarie? It's like, I've got Barbara Alyn Woods. And she shows up. And within 30 seconds of being there, every member of the crew is in love with her. Willie Garson is following her around like a puppy.
I love Willie.
Everyone eating out of the palm of her hand. And they're like, where did you find her? Because it was really this like one-dimensional character on paper.
Yeah.
And Barbara came in and made her warm and funny and so likable and like the hero of the movie. And everyone was just like, please, let's write a whole movie where she's here the whole time.
And it was an all-night shoot, which is always extra special because we all get super giddy and, you barely make it through. It was fun. It's fun.
You have that special thing that I think Sharon Lawrence also has, Barbara, where you walk into a room and it's like, I love Sharon too. And you don't walk, you like float, you like glide into the room and everyone stops and the energy in the room shifts and suddenly you just notice everybody's kind of like watching, looking at you. No, it's true. You and Sharon Lawrence have that and it's really amazing to watch happen.
I love her. You know, we know each other because of One Tree Hill and we never even worked together, but we have run into each other. And so we really bond over the show, even though we never worked together. And she's amazing. Yeah. I would love to work
Should
with
we
her.
do Most Likely To, girls?
Yeah, Barbara, you're going to help us with Most Likely To.
Yeah, please do it with us.
It can be a real life cast member of ours or a character.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Oh, this is so cute.
Yeah, listen, we're getting advanced here.
Ooh. Kiss and tell.
Most likely to kiss and tell. All right. This is a dangerous one. I mean, I never kissed anybody on the show. Nobody wanted to kiss me, so it probably would have been me had anyone kissed me, damn it. Wasn't provided that opportunity. I would have told everybody. Yeah, kiss and tell. You know who kiss and told in real life, ladies?
Ooh.
One Barry Corbin. So I used to hang with Barry Corbin at that bar downtown, Charlie Brown's.
I can tell you a few Barry Corbin stories.
Please do.
Yes, please.
He's a kiss and tell.
Well, he's just, I mean, he went forward a few times. Let me just say.
You're facts, Barb.
How could he not?
Yeah.
But, we're being public and I felt a little bit under the table, just like checking it out to see if I was interested. But, in a respectful way. I was never like
just grazing the back of your hand. Just like, would you like to hold my hand?
A little footsie.
Oh my God.
I love him. So
he's a flirt.
It was okay. Yeah, he's a flirt.
How did you, this is actually a good segue into this question because I think this happens a lot, especially right now in this modern age. A lot of young women are not sure how to handle if they're being hit on by somebody that maybe they just don't want to go out with or whatever. And it becomes a really scary and like, I'm at work and I feel, and then it becomes an HR thing. But I think there is an onus on women to just be able to say like, I'm so flattered. Thank you. But no. And then, of course, if it continues, it becomes a different issue. But how do you handle that as a young woman?
I've put the fear of God in all of my kids, because of all the situations I've been in, and I would never want any of those things to happen to them. Mm-hmm. And I think they have no trouble saying no. I mean, they just walk away.
That's awesome.
It's so
fast.
cool to see a kid say no. We weren't groomed to do that.
And how do you say no to when you're like when you're getting hit up? Hey, he's checking it out. Is this an interesting thing? Like, how do you do that where you maintain the friendship and the relationship in a working environment, but still put your boundary up?
I don't know. I think it's just more acceptable these days to say no. I don't think that the hitting is going on as often as it used to. Let's hope it's not.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I have a feeling they say no even when people aren't hitting on them because they're just so afraid they are. I think that they turn them away like, what are you doing? Would you like some coffee? Go away.
Not today.
Yeah. Deflect your coffee elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
So that was my predicament in the past. I don't want to be on this person's bad side, this person I'm going to be working with for the next 6 months. I don't want them to hate me or take it out on me in any way. So that was like the struggle I always went through.
Sure.
But I just don't see it as much these days. Thank God. I just
But it's also part of the dance of men and women is, somebody making an advance to see like, hey, are you interested? And then the other person says yes or no. And that's the dance. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Who would have kissed and told though? Like who would have put out?
Oh, Deb.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah.
And you know what? I did want to say something because I thought about this because I so respect the fact that you guys were able to say no at your young. And, some of you were, relatively new, but you had no problem saying no. And you had integrity and you protected your characters. And I think because of that, my character got more interesting because I think somebody, when they were trying to like spice up the show a little bit, they're like, oh, these girls, they won't do it. Like, I'm like, I'll do it. Do you need someone? Yeah, I'll do gratuitous sex. Yeah, it'll be me. I don't know. I never volunteered, but I think they saw that maybe I was game.
Yeah.
So
you had kids, so they know you were putting out.
They were not that they, I don't know. It's like fourth choice, No way. But they would have rather had it be you.
It was more age appropriate though, because think about it. As like real women, we come into our sexuality not at 18, not at 16.
Exactly.
Certainly, it is something that like in your 30s you are jamming, and so it made more sense for Deb to be the leader there.
And it was also, I think that when sex is funny, it's less offensive. And I always tried to incorporate like these scenes that sometimes, many times cross the line. If they're funny, they're more acceptable somehow.
Yeah. But they're less threatening.
I'm not sure why that is, but less threatening. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good way. From now on, every time I have to do a sex scene, I'm going to take that note.
Make it funny.
And I'm going to make it funny.
Make it funny. Yeah.
There'll be a director at some point who's just like, who told you this? Well,
funny sex.
Funny sex is way better sex. All right. Soph, did you have any kiss and tell candidates?
Oh, man. I mean, I feel like Brooke Davis was a bit of a kiss and teller, but I also feel like it was very to try to be cool,
Who were yours?
Oh, well, Barry, I think is actually a really great. I think, yeah. My first instinct, I was like, is it Brooke? But actually, I don't think it's Brooke at all. I think she's much more of it's all bravado with Brooke. I think she holds a lot close to her heart, a lot of private moments. I don't know. Antoine's definitely most likely.
He loves to tell.
He tells a lot.
He tells a lot.
He does.
You know what's so funny, Joy? I actually had a thought about that kind of Brooke Davis bravado based on our conversation from last week when I was watching you do that scene in the poncho with James and Hilarie. We were like, God, you're just playing it so
sweet.
It's so sweet, and he's kind of flirting, and you're just like really hard to read, and you can tell that she's flattered but also wants to hold it in. And I was like, man, see, Joy actually knew how to be chill around boys. And then there's me, who's supposed to be like, the head cheerleader, and like she's really into dudes, and I just watched myself like really overacting because I'm like, is this how people do it? This is how people do it, right? They make like really big faces and stuff, and they're like, and I just was like, oh God, yeah, you'd been doing sex, man,
worked.
And you were chill.
It did work.
We learned so much about Brooke because of that, because she didn't. I think that was the doubling down that she would do instead of retreating, which is what Haley did. She just retreated within herself. Brooke was like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to throw everything out there and try and get it right. It's just a different way of handling the same emotions. It's cool.
It's so funny.
I love it. Barbara, it makes me so happy and confident to know that your daughters are the next generation of leaders and role models for young girls out there. Because I know how you raised your girls. We know how you are, and you did it right. They're beautiful and smart and strong and confident in a way that I wish we'd been.
You absolutely were all of those adjectives. I looked up to you guys so much as the adult on the show. I looked up to you guys. I really did. You are now such amazing role models to my girls, and we all follow everything you do. And it just, I'm just, as the mom on One Tree Hill, I'm so proud of all three of you.
I love you.
Thanks, Barbara.
We love you. We have to get back to Wrightsville Beach like soon.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to see you in person soon.
And I want to see I want to see all your babies. And oh my God, I know they're not babies anymore, but I want to see everybody.
We need a reunion.
We do. Yes. Maybe when you get home from Toronto, before I go to Toronto, we'll steal Hilarie from the East Coast and we'll all snuggle.
Let's do it. Sleepover. We'll bring the juicy suits.
Oh my gosh, that's it.
We have to.
Joy always wanted to have tea parties. She's like, I'm going to do a tea party. So we'll do a tea party. We still have to do a tea party.
I'm so down. I still do tea parties. It happens.
I love it. I love it.
We love you so much, Barbara.
We love
you
you.
have to come
guys.
back as Deb spirals. You're coming back. please.
I want to come back for the I want to come back with Antoine.
Yes.
For the pool scene. We'll talk about it. We'll see what was going through his mind.
Yes.
I love that idea.
Yes.
Great.
Awesome. We love you so much. Thank you for joining us,
Barb.
babe.
Thanks for having me.
Tell everybody we said hi.
You. Hugs to the gals.
I will. Bye.
Bye. Wow.
Oh,
I love her.
guys, Barbara Alyn Woods.
She brings such peaceful energy to everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And you know, Barbara really
professional.
does remind me that we get to own it all.
Yeah.
We get to own our professionalism and our intellect and our funny and our silly and our sexy. And she's such an incredible example just by being that you can be so fully embodied. I mean, what a role model.
Yeah. And I love
agree.
that I'm so scared of this industry for my kids because I had such a wonky experience with it. And Barbara did the opposite.
Yeah.
Barbara was like, we're not going to be scared. We're going to own it, you know, and has kept her girls really safe. I mean, Barbara committed to being on set with all three of her girls, like at the same time. She's a superhuman. I don't know how she did it. But they're just, you can tell their dad is an assistant director. They know how to show up and work.
They know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
the thing. I mean, it does make me scared. Maria is actually a really good little actress. And she's got good instincts but she does theater right now. 'Cause to me, theater is a team sport, but film for kids is really, as so many of, it doesn't take a genius to take a look around and see all the kids that have gone off the rails because they grew up in this business. But Barbara has managed to do an amazing job with her girls. They're all such good, solid people and smart and stick up for themselves, and they're professional, and it gives me hope. It's pretty cool. Hey, welcome back. Okay, we have some listener questions.
okay.
From Brianna. In episode 5, on the anniversary of Peyton's mom's death, why does Brooke seem so unaware? They're best friends, and I just feel like she had no idea what day it was. So I'm hoping you guys will talk about it. And when you get to that episode, hopefully it was a production error. I just feel like Brooke is so much better than that. And, how did she not realize about this important day for her best friend? So tell us about that.
Well, listen. We have to also keep in mind, this was 2003, right? So this is like pre-Facebook reminders. This is pre-iPhone with Google Calendar and things like that. Like,
We were still using paper calendars on our walls.
Babe, you weren't going to write that out in your school planner, Like, it's not, it was just a different time. And I think remembering things like that are much easier now.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, we have constant reminders now, but also I don't know that the writers, when we started the show, understood the depth of our characters' chemistry. That we really were a love story.
Yeah, they didn't, for sure. And I do think that, first of all, thank you for that, because as soon as Joy read this question, I wanted to barf, because it was always a thing that upset me.
Well, I didn't come to your wedding either, babe. Like, we did.
That's true.
Stuff gets messy.
The baby's sick.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But no, it's very true. But I think this is really indicative when you guys have heard us talk about the ways that we went to bat for our characters and fought for them to be more wholly represented and complete young women and women. This is exactly it. We were really still 5 episodes in, although, Peyton had this incredible storyline about grief that I think was the most adult thing we had done on the show so far. We were still kind of being treated as these secondary characters. It was 2 boys, they were the stars, it was about basketball, and we were the girls, and we'd be used where they needed us.
Right.
And especially with Brooke, because I was added in episode 1, they were like, captain of the cheer squad. Like, well, she's that stereotype. And these were the kinds of things that we would bring to the table over and over and over again and say, it wouldn't be like this. Girls wouldn't miss this. We would never ignore this. And, woof. It was brutal at times. And also, let's be honest, to hear like, well, that's not really the point of the episode. And it's like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah. Right. It was a fight all, the whole time. Because like when Brooke got beat up and Peyton's like, oh, you fell down the stairs. There were just certain things that you can only fight so many fights, especially when you're, it's season 1 and you're brand new.
And there are things, that's a really good point. There are things that are required for us as performers to suspend disbelief to service the story.
Yeah.
Like when that happened to Brooke and Peyton had to go, oh my God, honey, like what a horrible fall you took. Because if you'd known, then we wouldn't have had the drama of the episode.
Yeah.
If Brooke had been there for Peyton in the way that I would think she would have been, Peyton wouldn't have been alone for the whole episode crying in her car.
Yeah.
So sometimes there are these requirements.
Brooke somewhere to go. But every flaw gives your character somewhere to go. So it worked in that way.
Well, the redemption's so much sweeter, than when Brooke shows up, it just the redemption's sweeter.
But it would have been so nice to see you guys connect in that way and see what a good friend Brooke was right off the bat.
Her. Just know in real life when things ever went south, we were all hugging and kissing, back in our trailers.
I mean, I will say, because this is now the second time I've thought of it in reference to this, because this is about grief and so much of, so many of the big moments in this episode happen on the quad. I'll never forget shooting at school one day on the quad, and it was the day my grandfather died. And Hilarie, you were the person, like I got the call from my mom, and you just like, I didn't know I was falling, but until I realized you'd caught me. And like, we went through that stuff in that school, like in those places together, all of us, like our real grief, our real loss, like, you lost people. I mean, we lost people.
Scott, and you were the first person I saw.
We were so blessed to be there for each other in life, and that is something I cherish, that we got it right
behind the scenes.
Time. Behind the scenes, and when we didn't get it right, all of the times, on camera.
Yeah, it's nice when you feel like it's real, and I think that's why the audience wants to know, like, how could this be? But the real stuff was real. So if you were feeling like, oh, this relationship deserved more, just know that it did exist, just like off camera. And that kind of leads into the next question that we have. Mackenzie wants to know if I kept any of the albums that Peyton had in her room. And like, babe, this is a tough subject because no. When I left the show, it was kind of unceremonious. After the fact, somebody snuck me Ellie's leather jacket. Our costumer knew that was something that would mean a lot to me, and it was never going to be seen again. And so she passed it like through a secret channel of people to get to me. But the only things I have from the show were things that Soph stole when the show ended and mailed to me. She was like, I have a box.
I have some things for you. That was
even
so
though
emotional.
Like Peyton never came back, the real life relationship behind the lens is what you guys hoped it would be, like, yes, my best friend stole my stuff. Thank you so much.
I mean, I remember that was so hard. You even referenced Brooke's wedding. Like, Joy and I were like, this feels weird. Yeah. But you gotta like do it. And I think there was such a saving grace for us in getting to have the safety of Brooke and Haley after all those years. But, oh man, I mean, this is a fast forward, but I remember the end of the show when we were filming the Tree Hill movie and we rebuilt Peyton's room. And, the bookshelves, the records, it had all been in storage. That's something that the audience may not know too. Like, guys, they keep everything in boxes and it's cataloged, and like they break the sets down and they literally pack up buildings, walls in storage containers. And it's all somewhere. And I walked into, Peyton's room with the records, and I just started sobbing. Everyone was like, oh God. And I was like, this is really weird. I'm feeling very emotional. I grew up in this room on television and also in real life. But yeah, it was a trip. And that was kind of when when we were like getting into the last 2 weeks, I just started stealing stuff and mailing it to people. I was like, I'm going to take these. I'm going to take that frame.
Came in handy,
you know, because I was like,
weeks.
I know these things are just going to go like in a storage container and no one's ever going to see them again. And I don't like that. I'm too sentimental.
I feel like a lot of our stuff got sold in auctions and things like that. So if anybody has like my old clothes, like I'll buy them back. I'm not. Is that weird? Hey guys, can I have my stuff back?
No, I kind of like that.
Yeah, Joy. We have a question from Carla. She wants to know.
Oh,
girl, did you get to keep that Cracker Jack bracelet from Haley's first tutoring session with Nathan? Did you get to keep it?
So. I'm going to burst the bubble. Like, I don't want to ruin the fantasy with this.
I'm like, there's a story here.
No, it's not a real story.
Do you want to make something up?
It's actually so non-exciting that the prop department had like a giant plastic bag full of these bracelets. And
so there wasn't just one.
There wasn't just one. It was like, and it was a
like
big
40?
plastic bag. He would give them out to like extras and people who were like, oh, I want one. So the actual original one that he put on my wrist just went right back into a plastic bag. So somebody out there has the actual original one, but there's no way we would ever know which one it is.
Did you get to keep any?
I have one
bag of
somewhere.
Bracelets?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do have one,
good.
but it was just a random one from a plastic bag, you know. So the sentiment is there,
but
but
nice too, though, because like now every girl who has one is looking at her wrist like, this could be the way. Like it's like Willy Wonka.
I've got a golden ticket. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Wait, and Carla has a sort of part 2 of her question, which I don't think I know the answer to about you either, Joy. Were you ever a tutor in high school? No, you didn't.
No, I did terrible in school. Are you kidding? No.
Did you really? I would have figured you were like the straight A girl. No?
No. I was B's and C's at best. If I ever got an A, it was like throw her a fucking party. I mean, no, I just don't.
Joy, you're such a good actor.
I don't learn well in classroom environments. Now, whenever I was on set and I had a personal teacher, and I would fly through my curriculum and I would do really, really well because I had one-on-one and somebody that could work with. My brain learns and processes information in a way that's just not conducive with the public school system and the classroom environment. I ask a lot of questions because my brain kind of works where like it's not enough for me to just know what the answer is. I need to know why that's the answer, and I need so that I can understand. Don't just tell me that if I put the toast in and I click it down, it's going to heat it. Why is it heating it? How does that work? I need to understand. And teachers don't have time for that. So I could never just learn the answer and then copy it down. My memory wouldn't hold things like that. So I did pretty badly in school, to be honest.
Do you guys have a weird short-term memory thing from doing TV for as long as we did?
100%.
Because, whoa.
Yeah.
I've realized that when you get trained to learn 10 pages of dialogue a day and then forget it and learn 10 more the next day, man, sometimes I'm like, what happened? There's a story. It was my birthday? Wait, start the story. And if someone gets 4 lines in, then it's exactly like the reaction you had watching the scene on the bridge where I'm like, oh, I know this dialogue. I know this. I remember.
You guys, I remember every word of the scene with Lucas. It was the weirdest deja vu feeling to watch that scene back and be like, oh my God, was it maybe my audition scene? There's no way that scene was written when I auditioned. I don't know why. It's just it's like stapled to my brain. I know every single one of those words. I could do that scene tomorrow.
Insane.
It's just
maybe
nuts.
because you had to do it over a weed whacker?
Over and over and over. Yeah. You know what? It was the trauma of the weed whacker. It just cemented it. Yeah. Forever.
It's so awesome. Sophia, though, you are different because you can read a book and remember what was in the book and have intelligent conversations about it long after you've read it. I remember this about you. I can't. I mean, I can process information, make decisions about it.
She's got a photographic memory.
Yeah, but you you remember.
That's really kind. So this can be a conundrum. This is really good for me as an advocate. I can rattle off social science data till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
But when I tell you I do not know my mother's cell phone number. Sorry, Mom. I don't know it. I know the first 3 digits, but like I don't know it. I just don't. There are basic things I cannot remember, but I can tell you a quote from some Dutch report on gender pay parity from 1993. I don't know why I'm like this. And sometimes I look at people I love and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Thank you for loving me. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Okay, so we have a huge episode next week. What's next week? It's episode 6. Every night is another story. Oh,
ooh,
that's
is this
a good
the party?
one. I think it's the party.
What party?
Is it the party?
Wait, the beach house party?
The
we
party
just watched that.
I think it might be the fancy house party, like dresses and suits.
The one where I had to rip Chad's shirt off.
I don't remember any of this.
Red Solo cups. Ooh.
Yeah. It was it was a tough one.
Man, I have no idea. I guess you guys will all catch
guess
up
what?
with me.
We're all gonna find out next week.
We have questions.
All right, so you guys have to watch the episode because we're watching the episode.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, tell all your friends because we're having a great time here.
We love it. And thank you guys for your questions. These are so just lovely and thoughtful and sentimental, and they mean a lot.
Yeah. So if you are feeling some overwhelming feelings like Peyton in this episode, there is no shame in asking for help. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. Help is there. There are people that love you and care about you. And so we want you to stay healthy.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens.